living in your liberal state isn't exactly working for you, and I'm going to tell you there are a lot of mistakes people are making when they're moving here to the Boise area. In this one, we're diving into South Meridian. The biggest thing they're doing is that they're throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall. I'm going to tell you the 3 biggest things we can do to fix that. So you stay tuned for that. I'm going to give you those 3 things. You're going to love what you see when it comes to the food, the shopping, the schools, all that type of stuff. There are a lot of good things, some things that we should point out, but a lot of good things when it comes to South Meridian. So we are going to dive into everything South Meridian in this one. Stay tuned. Why do people choose Meridian, Idaho? Everyone looks for their special balance of community, commutes, traffic, crime, schools, prices, everything. Meridian strikes a great balance between price and community while still being close to everything. Meridian has one clear advantage that I don't think gets appreciated or talked about enough. That one's coming up later. But in the meantime, a quick backstory on Meridian. Meridian, when I went to high school, I remember driving past a sign in the 90s. There was a population sign that said 33,000 people. That's what Eagle is today, 33,000 people. Meridian's population is quite a bit different now. It's at 139,000 people in 2024. It's growing at 3.8% annually. That's a ton. Average household income in Meridian is over $120,000 a year, and the poverty rate for Meridian is just above 6%. Pretty good, all things considering. So I told you Meridian tries to strike a balance between community, commute, and location. The community is fantastic. One of the coolest things they do there is called Meridian Dairy Days. It's a parade and it pays homage to the Dairy Days founding of the community of Meridian. There were a ton of dairy farms in Meridian, much like Kuna very recently used to be and Kuna's moving away from. Meridian now has over 100,000 people, but still tries to maintain the small town feel. That parade that happens has floats, has candy, is great for the kids. You might not know this, Idaho is actually the 3rd largest producing dairy state in the nation. Pretty cool. We're not just potatoes. We got cows too. Another community event they do that's 6 months later is the Christmas Light Parade Show. Usually it's the first Friday of the month this happens. What they do is they take a parade and then they end at the Christmas tree in Meridian by the city building, and then they light that thing. Pretty fun. When our kids were younger, we went into Meridian around Christmas time, and they have coloring books, Santa, pictures with Santa. They had a few games and a few things to do around City Hall. That was a fun event too. Meridian really strikes a great balance with being a small community, even though it's over 100,000 people. Meridian, Idaho is more affordable than you think. Lowest home sale price was $129, median home price $540, and then the highest home price in the last few is $3.25 million. I've helped buyers this week at $142,000. I've helped buyers in the last month of up to $5 million. I am not above any home price, but I will tell you, most and a lot of home price sales happen between $600,000 and $1 million in Meridian, Idaho. It's kind of a sweet spot. There are homes that sell for less than that for sure. That's why it's the median at $540. And I love working with those homes. A lot of those are CVH homes because CVH has a huge stronghold of Meridian. And there's a ton of homes that are being built by them at under $540,000. But then there's also other builders that are in that $540,000 to $1 million range. So we can totally help you out if you are looking at those price ranges. Let's get you started. Real quick, if you're looking to move to the Boise Valley, there's no greater compliment that I receive than phone calls, texts, emails from people just like you moving here, whether it's the next 9 days or 90 days. I would love to make your Idaho freedom loving dreams come true. So give me a call, text, or email, and we'll make that happen. Now onto acreage properties. Maybe you are looking for acreage and you don't want run of the mill. You want maybe a pool, some yard, nice home, and you stumble upon a $3.4 million beauty such as this. This one has 5 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, a 14-car garage with RV parking. This one's on 6 acres. Like I said, it has a pool. Taxes are a little bit up there, close to $10,000, which is a lot for Idaho. Some people come in and think I have low taxes because we are lower than $10,000 a year. This is high for Idaho, $9,000. This is in a cul-de-sac. There's a storage shed. There's no HOA dues. This thing is a thing of beauty. This one's listed by Arrow Tallman, realtor friend out there. If you are looking for acreage in Meridian, there are 11 active listings of 1 acre or more. So there's not a ton. Like, there's a lot of residential in Meridian, and to think that you're gonna get there and get sprawling acreage properties, you probably have more acreage properties in Middleton right now than you do Meridian, even though Middleton's population is probably 16, 20,000, somewhere in there. And Meridian's is closer to 140. It is definitely not the acreage king, if you will. Should you be worried about the schools in Idaho? Absolutely not. Like, Just absolutely not. Real quick glimpse on the screen here shows you A's and B's will do this place just fine. I went to Meridian High School. That place has received a ton of money to revamp it, to revitalize it. It used to be considered a school that wasn't worth going to. Honestly, it's just because they were building new schools all the way around it and people didn't want to go to the oldest school, which was only like 30, 40 years old. It wasn't that bad at all, but it has received a ton of renovations. The one knock I'd have on South Meridian is the access to shopping, restaurants, grocery. They're building out Albertsons in South Meridian. There's a couple of them. There's one in South Boise, one in South Meridian. There's a Scheels in South Meridian. There's Home Depot and Lowe's in South Meridian. There's Walmarts. You're wondering why, where do I need to go shopping? Well, if you want to go to the mall, you do have to go into Village, or if you want to go downtown, or do you want to go to the mall, like there's a little bit of a jaunt, but I would say the biggest difference is North Meridian has everything right there, and Meridian's things are spread out a little bit. There's some stuff off Overland Road. There's some stuff at Eagle on the freeway. There's stuff at 10 Mile on the freeway. 10 Mile is going to be built out just like Eagle, so it's actually going to be a huge corridor. There's a ton happening right now in the South Meridian area that, in my opinion, is only going to make it better. Construction is going to be a bear there for the next year as they widen some roads and make things more accessible for South Meridian off of Eagle Road. But that's kind of to be expected with the growth they're having. I mean, going from 33,000 people in 1990 to 139,000 people in 2024, that should not come as an alarm to you that we are having growth issues. And I wouldn't say issues in a bad way, just problems that come with growth. Craving amazing food and convenience right at your doorstep? South Meridian's got hidden gems like Biscuit and Hogs and Big Judd's in South Meridian. You're just minutes away from top medical care at St. Luke's on Eagle Road. And I told you I'd tell you the one biggest factor of Meridian that I think is way overlooked, and it's the freeway access. The freeway access in South Meridian gets you anywhere in the valley. You're only 10 minutes from downtown Boise. You're only 15 minutes from the west end of the valley in Caldwell, Middleton. Maybe 20 minutes if you take the 10 Mile exit. I mean, it takes us only 20 minutes to get to Scheels from Middleton, and Scheels is still South Meridian. Would you say Meridian's safe if I told you it's safer than 58% of the communities around? Well, I think it's actually safer than that. I'm not sure why it's only more safe than 58% of the communities. I would say the thing's 90% safer. I don't know the last time I heard any sort of crime there. I know there's statistics they pull, so my opinion doesn't mean much. Go do your own research. But the crime numbers say it's safer than 58% of the cities out there in the nation. For example, the chances of receiving violent crime in Meridian from another individual is 1 in 698. So it's not that many. Like I said, Meridian is growing, and how is it growing? Topgolf's in South Meridian. Scheels is in South Meridian. You've got Wahoo's, Roaring Springs, Hillsdale Park, Discovery Park, the YMCA, a ton of great things happening there in South Meridian. Like legitimately, this is a different place than it was even 3 years ago. I love South Meridian. I grew up in South Meridian. I had a Boise address, but it was essentially South Meridian. If I were to choose anywhere to live all over again, South Meridian would have been considered from the start, although you could not get me to move from Middleton right now because of the land and the acreage and the price we have out here, and we're really not that far from Meridian. To get to Topgolf from Middleton is 22 minutes. To get to Topgolf from somewhere in South Meridian, because it's in South Meridian, is anywhere from 3 minutes to 12 minutes. It depends on what you're looking for. But if you're looking to have a balance between community, between traffic, between location, between great schools, low crime, a lot of residential, a lot of options for kids. If you're looking to be in the thick of things, it's not even that heavy in traffic. The traffic goes on the main roads. You can really get away with a ton in Meridian. If you can afford Meridian, Meridian is fantastic. It's a little bit more expensive than the places around. South Meridian's a tiny bit cheaper than North Meridian, but it's more expensive than Kuna to the south or Nampa and Caldwell to the east. Very similar to Star, but Star is cheaper than Meridian, more expensive than Boise. You know, I love the schools in Meridian. I can't say I know anything because I've never been to Boise schools, but Meridian schools are great. Yeah, I wouldn't push you anywhere, but if I could advocate for a city to consider, I would highly consider Meridian. I would compare it to Eagle, I'd compare it to Star, I'd compare it to Middleton, I'd compare it to Kuna, I'd compare it to Nampa, I'd compare it to Caldwell. Those are the places I would be looking at. And if you're looking at Meridian, I'm gonna guess you are probably looking at something not in the acreage realm, which is probably going to lead me to think that you are going to end up in an HOA. There's a lot of HOAs in Meridian. Those aren't necessarily a bad thing. Most HOAs are barely tolerable in Boise, so I don't think you have too much to worry about there. I lived in a few HOA subdivisions myself. If you just take your trash cans in and you mind your P's and Q's, like they really stay off you quite a bit. And if you just don't paint your house a bright green or a bright pink, you should be fine. And remember, with those HOAs, you get the pretty outside fronts to the main streets. You also get water rights to water your lawn throughout the year for a low cost. And we're talking, if you have pay an HOA of $350 a year, you get your water for the whole year for free. Remember, South Meridian is a place you should be considering if you are looking at striking a balance between commute, community, and safety. And if you're watching this video, you should be checking out North Meridian as well. I've got that video. Go watch that one as well if you need to. And of course, if you're looking to move to Boise, there's no greater compliment that I receive than phone calls, texts, or emails from you at the number or email on your screen. So give me a shout there and we can get you started on the Buying in Boise Improvement, which gives you a driver's license in Idaho, gives you everything you need without wasting time, without missing out on your home. So let's get you started. And also put a comment below of anything I missed in this video if you've been to South Meridian and you know I missed something. Meridian has one, let's just say this, Meridian has one clear advantage, that there's a storage shed. The crime rate says it's 50, the crime says it's, but if you are looking to get to height, if you're looking to have, oh, I forgot the lights.